What's happening in most classrooms is actually quite objectionable, right? There's an incredibly heteronormative, racist, classist vision of what sexuality might look like in our communities. And I object. That's not the objection that's usually heard in the newspapers or in the political debates, and there isn't much room for it. So then I would approach the question another way and to think about the word objectionable. And so I would think, well, why is it that sex ed is the thing to which we are able to object? Right? Why is it that there's so much room for us to take up so much space in political debates, in our political economies around sex education? Why is it that on the backs of young people, on the landscape of public education, we can devote so much time to sex education, which really is such a small portion of what's happening in schools? It's actually such a small portion of where young people are learning about sexuality. And yet we invest so much. So I then suspect it's not really about sex education. There are these other objections that we can bring to the fore through our argument about sex education. So I think what we're really arguing about is the composition of families, about gender roles, about the room for trans people in our world, about how we allocate resources, who we recognize as having a meaningful life. And the way we can do that is through sex education. Right? But there isn't as much room for those other objections that we might have. So I think we have to be suspicious of why people are doing it through sex education, why we're asking sex education to do so much work, not only in schools, but just culturally. Why is this object the thing to which we object?